right? What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
They ain't believing us. Let's get it.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We are in for a treat tonight. We have another software explorations where we are going to continue through CodeCeps.js to see if we can get some AI into our automation. All right, so let me put up my agenda. Tonight we have to be focused, we have to speed through it because I have a meeting at 9 p.m. that I have to get to. I would love to stay here with you guys, but fortunately, I have a meeting that I have to get to, and I will. So we will probably be ending around 8:50 p.m. Eastern time, so I can get ready for my next meeting. All right. So let me get my agenda, and we will zoom through that. So, how is everyone doing tonight? It is so great to be back with you again. I have so much fun on these streams. And that cheer is for us because through all the videos that I'm releasing, there are people reaching out to me who are asking me questions about what I'm talking about the QA portfolio, about salaries, about all that stuff, about resumes, all of that stuff, So I just drop the content in different forms of whatever is digestible to whoever might be consuming it. And then you reach out to me, I'll get back to you, and we'll go from there. I've been reviewing some resumes, as I said, in the shorts that I dropped today. And, we just do whatever it takes to get better. So that is the goal. All right. So first things first, as usual, thank you to all the new subscribers. I was just looking at, what are we at right now? I think we think we're at 107 now. So shout out to that. All right. And I want to say shout out to
I appreciate you.
Diego Lacerda for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you being here. And we are going to have tons and tons of fun because that's what we do here. We are awesome. We are amazing. Close this down. All right, cool. So for all the others, I was just taking a look, right? Last Friday, I believe it was, we were at 89, and today we are at 107. So it's not even been a week yet, and we've grown by like 20. So we are making tons and tons of stride. We are coming. I see these, like, I have a lot of respect for all the people who make videos about QA and automation and stuff like that. But, I know that I'm the best and I'm coming. Competition is good. That's my motivation. That's my fuel. And that's how we all get better. So I'm coming. Just watch out. All right. Get your content up because I'm coming. All right. So, like I said, we have a hard stop at 8:50. I'm putting an alarm to know that at that time we are ending the show so I can get on to the next one, to my next meeting. Let me see. 8:50. All right, our alarm is set for an hour and 15 minutes from now. Okay, so now, what is the show schedule, right? So, as you saw on the intro screen, or starting soon screen, that the show schedule is Sunday afternoons, software explorations, Tuesday nights, Q&A sessions, Thursday nights, software explorations as well. So here is an update, right? On this Sunday afternoon, I'm going to use that as an opportunity to prep for what's going to be coming in the upcoming Thursday nights. So this Sunday, we're going to be installing a test case management system that we will use when we are building our QA portfolio. So Thursday nights will be used for building our QA portfolio. So like how to write test cases, how to analyze a site, how to create defects, things like that, right? And then, so this Sunday, I'm going to be installing the Kiwi test case management system onto we're going to do it on our local machine using Docker. If it happens to be like way too big and it needs to be like on an AWS instance, then we can do that too. But I'm going to go for doing it locally for now. And then I will also show you how you can use that when you're interviewing to use your QA portfolio as a tool, as a resource to the interviewer so they can see that you're ambitious and that you're innovative and that you think forward. All right. So that is that. Now, so just to repeat, Sunday afternoons, software explorations, Tuesday nights, Q&A session, Thursday nights, software explorations as well. All right. So shout out to our live shows. I see they are getting tons and tons of traction, have different things in there for everyone. All right. Next, we have our pre-recorded content that goes as follows. Mondays, we have candid conversations. All right. On Wednesdays, we have software explorations and guides. And on Fridays, we have the bug bite. This past Monday, that was a amazing, if I must say so myself, an amazing candid conversations talking about failing forward, right? Talked about different ways that I fail forward. And just this week, I had some more failing forward at work because like I was telling you guys, I was trying to work on some Docker stuff to get it to a certain way that would be more beneficial to the team. And it's like every time every time I thought I had it right, then something else comes up and then I thought I have it some more. And it's like I was using an existing Docker build file, like a Docker file to do the build. And there's some stuff that I wasn't aware of Docker. And as we find an issue, then I got to the point of like, oh, should we roll this back? And I was like, no, I'm not rolling it back because we are this close. And then I just thought like while working on it, thought of like ways that we can get to implement it to accomplish our needs. So that is the heart of failing forward. We don't like to go backwards, right? Backwards is a no-no. All right. So that is that. And then on this Friday, we have the bug bite where we are exploring the Northeast blackout of 2003. Very fun story. I know that I don't know. Based on their demographics, some people might be very familiar with that, and some people might have not even been born when that was happening. Well, watching this, you probably were. I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. And then yesterday, a very good software explorations concept and overviews about the QA engineer's role in project requirements and user stories. That is invaluable information on if you're looking to get into the QA engineering field, and that is you're going to be most likely working in a Scrum environment because that's how software development is going towards. There's barely any more waterfall and V model. Maybe if you're working for some like government agency or contract for government, I don't know. But for the most part, private sector, we're working in Agile and Scrum. So you need to know how to be impactful in those user stories. So I highly recommend you go and watch the software explorations concept and overviews for the QA engineer's role in project requirements and user stories. All right. So one more time, Mondays is Candid Conversations. Wednesdays is software explorations, concept and overviews. And Fridays, my personal favorite, the Bug Bite. All right. So shout out to our pre-recorded. And then always check out throughout the week. There is additional content being dropped, clips from our Q&A sessions, shorts that have different information to keep you going, to teach you discipline, to motivate you, all of that stuff. So check it out. Now, if you have not done so yet, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell so you can be notified every single time that I go live so I can continue adding tons and tons of value into your life. All right? Now, we are moving quick because, like I said, I have got to go. So I want to start off with this little opener, and then we will get to an icebreaker. So this opener, right? I read this and I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but this is my thoughts, right, on this. Okay, so let's read it. All right, so it says, parents disappointed in my career as an engineer. Okay, it reads, they keep asking me why I'm not making good money, why I'm living in such a small space as an almost 28-year-old with multiple roommates. When I'm going to purchase a home, getting into dating, having a family, etc. They keep trying to suggest alternate career paths to me as I'm almost 4 years into my engineering career, making $60,000 a year, and they know this isn't enough to do any of the above. They think engineering is a joke and not a legitimate career because it's so low paying. How do I deal with this? Are they even wrong? So, what I'm going to tell you is this. Shut your parents' mouths out of your head, right? Parents have these views for their kids, which you are no longer a kid at 28 years old, right? Unless you are living in their household, then I guess you have to listen to them, but you are living on your own, paying your own bills, living with your roommates, right? Doing what you got to do to grow, right? So you are ahead of a lot of people who might be living in their parents' basement or something like that, right? So don't listen to the negativity that anybody brings to you, whether it's your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, or your grandpa, right? You are your own person. With those type of things are just discouraging, right? So you be you, and you don't let them put that type of influence on you. If you are okay with where you are and you're progressing and you're with engineering, right? Then you chose it. If you're okay with it, then cool, right? So don't let anybody try to put that type of because it's like they're trying to force you to buy a home, like pick any random person. I don't know if you're or male or female, but trying to pick any random person to be in a relationship with and then get married to them and then have a family with them, right? It doesn't work that way. That's number one. Number two, it's your life, not theirs. All right. So sometimes you just got to tell them to shut the up. All right. So now the other thing about the $60,000 a year with an engineering career, I don't know where you live, right? But I think that you are making on the low end of engineering. And if you study and you keep building, keep getting better and all that type of stuff, the sky's the limit and you can make tons of money as an engineer. You just got to grow into your career. At 28, if you're a guy, you are still fairly young and you can, and career-wise, as a woman, you're fairly young too. But regardless, engineering, you can grow very far and you can make like upwards to like 200, 300 plus. And then you can also be developing your own things and all that type of stuff, right? Like the sky's the limit in engineering. I don't know what they're talking about. Like maybe they're from the old days or something like that, where they are, all they know is like doctors or lawyers or something like that. But like technology is the future, and you can't let like people who don't know what they're talking about have this type of influence on you. If you wanna get into a relationship and have a family and purchase a home, and you can afford it, if you want to do it, then go for it. But don't let anybody pressure you into doing something that you don't want to do. Shut them out, kick them out of your life if you have to. It doesn't matter who they are, parent, whatever. You're in control of your own life. Don't let anybody do that to you. All right. So that is that. Shout out to that opener. All right. Next, we have a quick icebreaker. And then we are about to get started with our Codecepts JS. All right. So our icebreaker, it's called I'll Have What She's Having. All right. So it says, it started out from working together above a mall food court where we would take turns buying lunch, then progress to lunches out and eventually dinners, mostly with a group of colleagues and occasionally one-on-one. Those lunches were always split evenly, but we never had drinks or anything too fancy. Over the years, the group changed and moved on, but the two of us lived in the same neighborhood and still worked in the same building, if not for the same department, so we would catch up over the occasional meal. Aw, that's so nice. After a while, I noticed we were splitting the bill evenly, but I was not ordering drinks and appetizers and desserts, and she was. Of course, she'd offer me a bite of her cake or a shrimp from her cocktail, but not half. I commented on it eventually, and her response was what kicked in the petty revenge. Her answer to my comment was basically, we usually have the same thing and I always share, so it's fair. I don't know why you'd want to make the server do extra work. So my revenge was pretty simple. The next time we went out to eat, I waited for her to order, then told the server, I'll have what she's having. I don't know if that's the voice. I don't even know if it's a male or female who's having this lunch. Anyways, I got a bit of side eye, especially when I asked for a takeout container for my leftovers, and a big frown when the bill came. Why would she frown if you're having what she's having? Anyways, the second time she asked me to order first, I did. Then she ordered her usual extravagant meal. Before the server walked away, I said, "Her order sounds really good. I'll have the same." This time, she suggests. This time, she suggested she might not have enough money to cover. So I suggested she drop the dessert and maybe not order the second drink. She frowned at me again and said, "Never mind." She had the audacity to complain that she usually doesn't spend that much. I just said, "Huh? Weird. My bill is about the same." And that was that. She never invited me for a meal again, and and when I invited her, she said she couldn't afford it. I still see her occasionally, and she's still bitter. I like that one. Well played, my friend. Well played. See, and that's the good. That's a good one, right? Like last time with them, with the person destroying the folder with the plane tickets. That's just wrong, and that's vandalism, and that's theft in my book, right? Yeah, the person forgot it, but you still took something that wasn't yours. But this one was very well played because they were trying to put one over on you, and you caught them, and you reversed it. Well done. All right. So shout out to that. And you get a special. So we are going to get into our implementation, but one more thing I have to mention. So in the Discord that I'm in, right, for QAs, who like aspiring QAs, right? They want to get into QA. They're learning, or they've passed some tests, and they're getting their resumes ready and stuff like that, right? So what I do is, as the senior QA engineer for the past 15 years of experience, right? 20 years of experience in the IT industry, I help them out. I challenge them. I ask them interview questions. I review their resume, stuff like that. So if you're interested, if anybody's interested in getting into that Discord, let me know. I can send you an invite, and you can participate, because it would be nice to have some more people who are aspiring, or maybe some more people who are seasoned, whatever the case might be, right? But it's a cool place. But I challenge them. I ask them questions, right? So let me get one of the questions that I asked, because I told them that I would be revealing my thoughts on the live stream and giving them who I thought was the closest to the correct answer, in my opinion, as someone who conducts tons and tons of interviews over the past 10 to 15 years of interviewing QA people, right? So let me pull it up, what I said, and then we will get to the show. All right. So here was my interview question. My interview question is... All right. So here's the interview question, right? It's: you are working on an application that when you enter a number between 13 to 37, you should be returned yes. Any number outside of that, you will be returned no. What are some test cases, scenarios you would use to test this feature of the application? All right. So that is the question. And we will, so instead of taking the breaks where we're looking at LinkedIn or Glassdoor or whatever, we are going to address different portions of that question for the break. I'm not even going to try to spend 5 minutes on the break, because I have got to go. I can't spend all night with you tonight, as much as I want to, right? So that is the plan. So after our first 20 minutes, I am going to go through the first part where I address what I'm looking for in an answer for a question like that, and some of the responses that I was getting, and then in the next break, we will say who I thought was the closest to getting the answer. So if I was interviewing, like all of them, the person that or I'll say the two people that gave me the closest answer to what I was looking for. All right. So let's start the show. All right. So we are going to put our timer up. But before we do that, we need some energy.
Please offer me your energy. I ask of you, please.
We got our Vikings with us tonight. We have our Vikings with us tonight. Love my Vikings. I think the reason I like the Vikings so much is because I was getting into football when Randy Moss was the wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, and that was a sight to see. Randy Moss, one of my favorite football players and wide receivers. But that is neither here nor there because Randy Moss is not a subscriber to the channel, so I couldn't care less what he's doing today. So we are moving on. So let's get to it. All right. So timer up. 20 minutes. And without further ado, all right. So we have our code steps here, and we're going to do code step. All right. This is the website for code step. So when we left off this past last week, a week ago from this time, we're getting an error. We're getting an error when we're trying to use the AI portion, and I did not do any work on this because quite frankly, I was too busy to worry about that, but we are going to figure it out. And let me put my Mr. Viking right here in front of me so I can get a sip whenever I need it. And let me see. All right. So let's see what we're getting into here. So I don't even remember. Did we need I think we had a Selenium grid up for this. And I wonder if I could use a different Selenium grid because I didn't really like their Selenium grid. See, and this is my problem, right? Because when I don't like how something works, I am obsessed with getting it to work the way that I want to work, not the way that they're telling me that it has to work, because I do not like, I have a certain way that I like things to work, right? I'm just particular that way. How does it know? Let me see something. How does it know? I test. All right. So let me look at through the documentation again to see what we did last time. So we getting started. Open API key. So we writing tests in Copilot. I am on. And let's close some of this stuff out. So I am on, and then you put the website, and then you say fill text. Let me see. And the part that wasn't working was the AI part. But I didn't even start my timer. So. And I'm just gonna move that to 15 minutes because let's do that. And let me put a message in the chat for anybody who's out there watching. All right, got our message in the chat. So anybody out there, feel free to drop a message, a comment, a question in the chat, and you will get recognition during our breaks. All right. So we have, so here in our test, we said go to, let's say, call this Amazon product search. All right. And let's see. GPT will generate code and data, and code steps will try to execute it. All right. So now run the test in debug mode. So, all right. So let's try to run the test, and we will do. What was our environment variable? Open API key. So we're gonna do open API key equals env dot open what's I have in here? Open API. All right, open API key. So let's open API key, and then we're saying let's go here. Don't need that anymore. And then we do npx code sep dot js run debug. When you do that, when pause, so let's add a pause to it. Load up some files. I remember creating this page, but whatever. All right, so product search, and then we say this should be text box. All right, so when pause mode started, you can ask GPT to fill in the field on the following page. Use natural language to describe your request and provide enough details that AI could operate within it. It is important to include at least a space character in your input. Otherwise, CodeSep will consider it to be JavaScript code. Okay. So let's comment this out, right? And let's open up the pause. And let's try to run it. I don't know if it's going to run because I remember there was some Docker thing that we had to do, no? Like, how did we get the grid up last time? Let me look at the documentation. I think we're missing something. Testing the WebDriver. Let's see. Maybe it starts it when you. Oh, wait a second. This is what I was looking for. Ooh, interesting. So let me start. Do I have Docker running? Let me get Docker running. All right. Somebody said I should be more hydrated during my stream, so hydration. All right. All right, so we have Docker up. We don't need that here. As long as it's running in the background, that's what's important. So what I'm going to do before I do this, I am going to say, let's do this. And this is what we've done before when we do Docker Docker. I think it's called. Yep, this one. But and we need the I should actually have it, so let me see. Docker. Let's zoom in a bit. Yeah. I can't zoom in. What's going on with this? Why can't I zoom in? Let's say settings. I'll make this a little bigger so it's easier to see. Ooh, that's big. Way too big. Oh, who put it at 40? I thought I said 18. 22. I think that's good. All right, cool. That works. So let's do a quick. So because I am on a M1 Mac, goodness gracious, where is this? There we go. Selenium HQ is the name. And I want the Selenium ARM because we're on the M1. So let's go to here. And we are going to do and what I'm going to do is I am going to pass in a name so we can always be able to reuse this one and then not have to always create a new one, a new instance. And this is Docker stuff. Like Docker is invaluable. Like I said, like this week, I've been using it like crazy and it's been doing some amazing stuff for us. So I would strongly suggest that anyone out there get familiar with the Docker or Kubernetes. That is the way of the future. Oh, yeah. So that's going to set up. Oh, I should have did it with that's fine. All right. So what I'm going to do in that case is looking at their configuration for their browser Chrome, URL, my web app, blah, blah, blah. So it should send it over to my instance of Selenium Grid and not have to use there, right? Because Selenium Grid is Selenium Grid. So let's see what happens, right? So if we go here and we run in debug, let's see what happens. Look at that. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Do I know what I'm talking about or freaking what? Let's go. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I keep trying to tell you.
We the best.
Yes, we are the best because you are rocking with Tech Coach Ralph. When I say something is going to work, it's going to work. Might not happen on the very first time, but it will work. All right. So, okay. So now let's see. So we are in debug mode. We are on the Amazon site. And then the cool thing that I showed you before when we are using the Selenium Grid, we can pull it up. And now we can see we are on the Amazon page. So let's say now, you see, look at that innovation.
They ain't believing us.
They did not. So
Let's get it.
now, if we're reading the code SEP, it says that, let me close this out. It says that we can, is that on the previous page? I think it was on the previous page, right? We can talk to it, right? So I say, let me make this bigger up here. Let me move myself down a bit. It's not that one. Move this down a bit. And I'm going to make this bigger. That didn't really help, right? So it says I'm going to say I search for what do we want to search for? Infinity Gauntlet. I guess that should be good enough, right? I think this is the error that we were having last time. We went to do this, and it said that we had a unexpected token. In pause mode, you can ask GPT to fill in the page value. Use natural language to describe your request. There's like, let me see. Maybe I should put a space after this. Let me see. Still with the 4. That's so weird, right? So I feel, let me see. Let's try the same exact thing they have, right? You see? That is weird. So now let's do some investigation because that is why we're here. We want to figure out if this is usable. So let's search for code.js unexpected token. Or maybe my API key isn't set. Enable OpenAPI Assistant by setting OpenAPI key. OpenAI key. I thought I had that though. Let me see. env OpenAI key. So do I have to export? All right, maybe I have to export it. Java. If there's anybody who is familiar with JavaScript. Let's see, node export env variable. How to export env variable in Node. I need to do one possible way is to use JS to print out the export statement, and in shell use eval to. That's the RB way. All right, here we go. You can Node.js will run in a separate process which gets a copy of the environment. You cannot change the environment of your parent process, but following question, can shell script okay. The package JSON maybe. Let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Because maybe I'm not passing. I don't need this anymore. Maybe I'm not passing it correctly. Because maybe it doesn't know what it is. Let me try something real quick. So if we do get some break time. So all right, so it's break time. And we are going to get to our interview question. let's do it. And then we'll go right back into programming. All right. So just to read the question one more time, it was, you're working on an application that when you enter a number between 13 to 37, you should be returned yes. Any number outside of that, you'll be returned no. What are some test cases, scenarios you would use to test this feature? All right. So first, we're going to talk about the answers that I was getting. So some of the answers, right? So I kept seeing a trend in the term of using with the word equivalence, right? There was equivalence intervals, there was equivalence partitioning, boundary value analysis. There were answers that weren't specific enough to the question. Let me see. There were, for the 5 minutes just in case, by the way. There were, let me see. Cool. So yeah, so I saw a trend, right, of something about equivalence, right? And I was like, what the hell is equivalence? Right? Like what is this equivalence partition thing that they speak of, right? So turns out this equivalence partition thing is from the I guess like it's in the ISTQB certification thing. But the thing is, with all that equivalence partition words that it's too hard for, I can't even say words with the letter S, like all these big words, right? And I didn't really get an answer that would have prevented a defect from being brought into production. You get what I mean? So I got a bunch of answers that were kind of magical and kind of like inspiring, and like with big words and stuff like that. But then when I break it down to, all right, practically, like I'm asking you what you would do. I'm not asking you for the concepts or the theories that you would use, right? So what I'm saying is, when you get like when you're doing like interview questions, you need to answer it like you would answer on an interview. So you got to be specific, you got to be concise, you got to be to the point of, this is what I am going to like this. So this is the answer, right? So in our next break, we're going to go through some of the answer, like so I'll say this, right? So then I asked, right, which we're going to get to that into the next in the next break, right? I asked, right, what are the actual values that you would use? Because I said like 13 to 37, you get yes. Anything outside of that, you get no. So as an interviewer, when I give you those details, I want the actual steps that you're going to take, right? The actual values you'd be inputting to get your output, not the theoretical, what you learned from a book. I need to know what's actionable, because what you learned in the book or in the PDF or the course, whatever it is that you took to get it, that is not going to necessarily stop a major bug from harming me. And if you watch the Bug Bite episode coming out tomorrow about the Northeastern blackout, you will see how something that sounds such a minor issue or minor slip up shut down the power for the whole Northeastern of the United States, right? So everywhere is dark. So that's that. We are getting back to work, all right? Because like I said, I got a short amount of time and I want to get through this. I want to figure this out. So let's get back to work. 20 minutes up and we are off and running. Let's do it. All right. So we are here. We are, and FYI, I see messages flowing through the Discord, but I can't look at the Discord right now. So put your comments in the chat if you want to, if you want me to interact with you, because I can't focus on the Discord right now. Put your comments in the chat and I can address that there. All right. So perfect. All right, let's see. So is the open API key getting passed? Let me try something. Let me try something. Let me try this. Did this at work the other day, exporting this variable. Don't 100% recall. You do this in Java, or in JavaScript. So I'm going to do this. Export open API, open AI API key equals, okay, and then echo all right, cool. All right, so that's going to work. So let's try it again because, oh crap, I need to plug in this laptop. 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right, so by the way, I love working under pressure because it just makes my mind roll and roll and roll and like, gotta get it done, gotta get it done. I think faster. One of the reasons I love doing jujitsu because that pressure, like, and everybody's bigger than me at jujitsu, right? That pressure that I face, it's like, it's invigorating, right? So let's get to it. So we are going to let's do this again. We do, so take out this env. Maybe that's what I should have, I don't know, whatever. Let's take that out, right? Open API key. Let's do that. I think that'll work. So let's see what happens. Yeah, I think that took. Cool. So that's probably, that might have been what the problem was, right? So let's do. All right. Oh, perfect. Okay, so yeah, that's what the problem was. I didn't have my open API key set up properly. So let's close that. Let's expand this a little bit. So we can go here and we can see that we are inside of. Oh, come on. All right, so we are here. So now let's say I search for infinity gauntlet. Oh, shout out to that. Look at that. Processing open AI. Okay, let's see what happens. So let's read what happened. Scenario, search for infinity gauntlet. Sure, here's the concept.js code. Let me see. To search for infinity gauntlet on the web page using the provided locators. Scenario search. I am on example. Replace with the actual URL. Use locators to interact with the search field and submit button. I fill in 2-tab search. I fill 2-tab search text box. Infinity gauntlet. I click ID nav. So I see to verify the search results. Huh. Do we want to try that out? What do we think? Should we try that out? I think that'll be awesome. Let's do it. So we are going to copy this little block of code right here, put it here. And we are going to go into let's go to our product search page. And I guess we can just copy this whole thing over, right? Copy this whole thing. And what is this? Yeah, this works like this. Something slightly different. I think it's part right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to copy this whole thing. I'm just going to copy this part. Copy this. In fact, let's just copy this. Right? And which is very similar to what I had already. But we don't need the pause. So let's copy that, right? And now we give it another run. Let's exit that. Or actually, let's keep going, right? So let's say, no, I want to stop. Right, so let's exit. All right, and we say, oh my God, I love that it uses the, it can use any grid, right? Because this grid is, it's probably like just set up using the Java jar. I don't know. However they set up the Selenium grid now on this Docker, I could send this to the Amazon device farm if I wanted. Right? You guys gotta put the proper code to get it to go there. But this is so cool that I can use this, and I can use our Python code. I can use our Java code. If I was to figure out how to do it in Ruby, I could use our Ruby code. Maybe I'll do Ruby one day, right? But it is so cool that I can just send it to the grid and have it run to any grid that I want. Sauce Labs, Browser Stack, AWS Device Farm, my local grid. I can put a grid on AWS EC2 instance, and bada bing, bada boom. All right. So let's try that again. Let me put a pause after this to see what happens. And let's give it a run. And let's pull it open too to see what's going on. Okay, let's see. Infinity Gauntlet. For show with it. All right, so now let's do some more, right? Let's do some more of it. We say, I click on the first product. So we don't need this. We can use that when I click on the first. I was using like a Gherkins. Let me see here. That's interesting. That it that's interesting because it gave. I wonder why it did the gherkins here given and when, while in the previous one it just did it straight into here. Whatever. Let's just see what's going on. So we're going to copy. And I'm going to pull up a browser and I'm going to search because I don't know if I like this CSS, but I need to try it out for myself, right? I'm very particular when it comes to CSS selectors. I'm gonna so this is strange to me. I'm gonna remove this, and I'm just going to put this right here. Oh, I see what they're doing. Because to make it more understandable, they are putting. Okay. So, but they don't say how you're supposed to run the steps. Please note that you may need to modify the locator. Oh, that's interesting because, okay, they let you know that they didn't really give you a good locator. But to me, when you're automating, the locator is the like this is easy, right? All right, let's do something a little more complex then, right? I count the number of products on the page. Because I would like to figure out how this part works over here, right? The given and the. Oh, I think I know actually. Do I? Do I? Import necessary modules. So let's go with this import. We're just gonna follow along. I guess this would be maybe. So the AI part, it's not as descriptive as it could be. Sure, here's a code sub.js code to click on the first product on the page. So now define the steps. So are you defining them outside? So let's try that. Let's define them outside. Let's see what happens. Okay, because it's getting that from there. And then I'm guessing this is gonna go. Let me pull this down a bit. So this we don't need this in here, right? That doesn't need to be in here. Don't 100% understand. I don't 100% understand this given part, right? Given I am on the web page, when I click on the first product, let me get rid of this for now. So scenario only. I feel like that should be within it. Define the steps. When I count the number, all right. So, all right. So, given I am on the web page, so if I pull this, let's try this. I'm trying to figure out how this thing is working. Invalid number of arguments expected to. Oh, okay. So this is not. I mean, kind of is at the end of the day, but I click. Let me see. Am I able to get this? Am I able to get this when? Hmm. We'll come back to that because I am curious about that. But let's look at what they said for counting the number of products, right? So import, given I am on the web page, I already got that. When I count the number of products on the page, async equals code steps locators to count the number of product, constant product count. Oh wait, I grabbed the number of visible elements for that. Console log, number of products on the page. Given I am on a web page, when I count the number of products, I gotta figure that part out because I am interested in how they're using this Gherkin's terminology. But I'm just looking at the grab the number of visible elements. Let's see that. Here's what I'm gonna do, right? I'll revisit this part, but what I'm going to do is I am going to grab. So like I wonder how specific you'd have to be to it, right? To say like, what if I wanted to assign it to a variable to do something else with it? So let's do this. Oh, I guess they did have it there. All right. So let's do this. And we say that and so async. I am not the best with JavaScript. Let's see. So we have that. So this should be resolved. And now we say, what's the print command? Right? What is JavaScript output? Oh, I think it's like console.log. That's what it is. All right. And then we are going to do console.log. And then we are going to do, we're getting the number of visible elements. And then we're going to do, click on the first item. So I think they're doing it this way so you can see what it's doing. Um, because like the way they bound it is kind of weird, but I just got to figure out how to use that.
Lunch break! Lunch
Probably won't
break!
be today. All right, so let's transition, and we will be back after this short little break. All right, so moving on with the interview question, right? So let me get this here. So, what values would you? So yeah, when the interview is asking you this type of question for they're asking you this type of question like, how are you going to? So the actual question is, how are you going to test it, right? If they're not asking you about like these concepts and stuff like that, then don't mention it, right? Answer the question as asked. How are you going to test this? I am going to test it by doing A, B, C, and D. I'm going to use these values for my positive test. I'm going to use these values for my negative test, right? And to validate that I am getting the actual response as per the story, the user story, or project requirements, right? So some of the answers that I got, right? And then we're going to do a quick so after I give some of the answers, I am going to go through we're going to try to run this test, come back for who I thought was the closest to getting the right answer, and we're going to wrap it up because I have Scott's to go, have to jump on a call for a resume review. All right. So so here's some of the answers that I got. And I'm going to focus on the ones that actually were giving the values after I asked for, because I had to go back and ask for the values. As an interviewer, I don't want to lead you to the answer that I'm looking for. I don't want to even give you a hint for the answer I'm looking for. Based on the way that I asked the question, you should have it already in your mind. What is the question that's being asked? So that is what is important for preparations. So values that I got were come on. They were so remember the scenario is between 13 to 37. So 13 to 37, you get yes. Anything outside of that, you get a no, right? So I got for positive values 13, 14, 36, 37, 25, 24 with as a float with dot 00. And negative values 4, 40, negative 3, some characters, some special characters, a letter and a character and a digit, some floats that are outside of the range. So some special characters. Let's see. So I got 13, 47, 19, 0, and 100. And then I got again for positive test 14, 15, 20, 28, 34. And for negative 0, 100, negative 2, some words, special characters. Let's see. I got 12 for positive tests. I got 12, 13, 14, 36, 37, 38. Negative tests, negative 15, 1%. Some characters, 1 space 9, I guess, and a float of 2, right? 2.0. And then, I'm going to start the timer. And then, let's see, anything else? All right, so that's about it, right? So those were the answers that I got. And once we come back after we run this, I will give you the answer that, like how I would answer that question, what I would be looking for. And I would say who I think got the closest to getting the right answer. And we will then wrap it up. All right. So let's go back real quick. All right. So we are here, and we get a sip before I get spoken to. All right. So I think we're ready to run it. So what I ended up doing, before we run it, I have to go to Amazon, make sure I got the right selector for, and I might stick with this like this concept a little bit more, just so I can understand it a little bit better, because I don't like how it's being coded or delivered. It's very amateur-ish in the delivery, but it maybe it can do more. But one, I'm not too familiar with the JavaScript scripting part of it, and it's a new thing that I'm looking into. So I want to get one of these. I do want to get one of these, but that is not the time for this conversation. Let's get to this. Not have it like right there behind me. All right, focus. We gotta go. We gotta answer the question. We gotta give the people what they want. All right. So, S image. What did they have here? They had S result item. So I don't even think this is a real thing, right? I think they're just giving us a dummy selector. Oh no, they're not. So this is a real thing, and it is 72. So maybe this would work. Let me see what it is on the page. So oh, okay. So their S results item is not specific enough, right? So see, and this is where it gets important that you have to know your selectors, because maybe ChatGPT isn't smart enough yet to be able to do all your work for you. All right. So this isn't even right. So div, let's go to the next one. And there's got to be some type of let's see here. And this is why I like to choose my own selectors. Like I don't like getting selectors from, because like if we were to run this test, this wouldn't work, right? This would not have worked. Let me put us up for 5 minutes. So I need, so I'm just not going to use theirs. I'm going to use my own stuff. So ing dot s image, there's 66 of those. Let me work my way out to let me work my way out to, if I click on the first image, oh, I can do this. So data component type, so I can make sure I get a product span. Wait, is that it? Yep, span. And then boom equals s product image space, boom, look at that. And now what I'll do is I'll just cycle through them. That, copy that, paste it in here. Then yeah, fine. And then this should be, and you don't even need to put the first row. Oh, look at that. 8:50. We are wrapping it up in just a few minutes. So what I would want to do as well, which number one, I have to look to see if this is going to give you the page object model. Like if you can use the page object model, because I don't like having duplicate selectors and stuff like that. So what I'm going to try to do, in my limited understanding of JavaScript, I'm going to say product selector equals that. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to pass it in here. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to I don't have to put this in there. No? Let me see. Okay. Okay, so do the same thing in here. And boom. Well, let's give it a run. If it doesn't work, we will pick it up next week. Oops, not what I wanted to do. Let's close that out. So that's good. All right, so let's give it a quick run. See what happens. Let's pull up our Selenium grid. See what's happening on the back end. God darn it. All right. Let's see if it's going to click on the first product. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look.
They ain't believing us. We the best. Another one. Let's get it.
The one thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Look at that, right? I took it, I took what they gave me, and I like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to put it the way that I see fit as a QA engineer. Tech Coach Ralph 1, Chat GPT 0. All right. So we are going to finish the show. All right. So what we are going to do, let's transition back. We are done with our. All right. So wrapping up. All right. I said I was going to share what I was going to share what I would answer in that type of question. So I had to look up to see what they were talking about with this equivalence partitioning type thing, right? So the interesting thing is, right, when I looked it up of how it explains it, I don't know if my understanding of the explanation is wrong, but the answers that I was getting, based off what they learned from the equivalence partitioning, they weren't covering a particular case, right? So for those who are watching, right, think about this. Why did I get this off the screen? All right. So think about this. If I say that the application, when you enter this integer from 13 to 37, right? Now, so that means if I enter 13, I should get a yes. If I enter 37, I should get a yes, right? However, right? However, what about if I enter 12? So you're testing the inside boundary, right? 13, 14, 36, 37. But what about the outside boundary? right? 12 and 38, right? That you should get a no. But what if the developers, they had some type of, what if they did the range from 12 to 38, but you never checked 12 or 38, which they should be saying a no, and you don't know what that no is controlling, right? But so that's why you have to test those boundaries as well. The positive boundary as well as the negative boundary, right? As well as all the like other types of characters and all that type of good stuff, right? So that part is fine, but that is like the second, like that's the most important thing that you're testing is like the actual values that this is supposed to be an integer, the actual values, right? 12 and 38. Those should get a no, but it can be easily done. And if you ask my dear friend Cora, who's a software engineer, she'll tell you how easy it is to like that you can get a bug where, let's say you don't like, you do between 12 and 38, thinking that if you do 12 and 38 and you don't do like equal to greater than or equal to like because you can easily just put greater than, right? Or you can put greater than or equal to on the 12, and then the 12 gets included, but you're not testing it because the requirement says 13 to 37. So you're only testing 13 to 37. You never mentioned 12 and 38, which is very, very important, right? So that is part of the, like that is a very important part of the answer that I'm looking for, right? So keep that in mind. Now, who I believe got the closest, I would say the two closest answers I would say was KSU007 and Nathan Dante. Those two, I think they were the closest. KSU, like you would have got you like your positive tests were like the only problem that you had was with yours were your positive tests. You included the negative scenarios in your positive test. You would have still caught the bug, but you would have been a little confused if you're thinking that you should get a positive test with those, or you should get a yes with those. So that's that. And Nathan Dante, like your answers were good. You like everybody like you didn't have those values, but your reasoning and everything like that was good. So I'll say those two were the closest, right? So that is that. I think this was a great exercise, and I think I might be incorporating this into our shows, especially when we have more time, so I can get this to you. So on that note, I have got to go. So I am going to be leaving you guys, and I will see you guys next time. But if you haven't done so yet, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. And on that note, friends, have a wonderful night.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.